Thanks for staying with us, everyone. So every time a Nigerian's bank details leak, a kidnapper gets smarter. And every time a health record is sold, a scammer gains leverage. And when foreign platforms like TikTok or Truecaller mishandle data, who pays the price? Of course, it's you and I. Exclusively today on Beyond the Headlines, we're joined by the man leading Nigeria's fight back, Mr. Vincent Olatunji, is National Commissioner and CEO of the Nigeria Data Protection Commission. He joins me live from our studio in Abuja. Thank you for joining us on the show this evening. Data breaches are seriously putting Nigerians at risk of kidnapping, fraud, and even terrorism. I'd like us to begin from there with the security crisis. Is your commission able to draw the link between our poor data protection and insecurity?
Good evening, and thank you for having me. And thank you for the question. It's all about linking protection with issues around security. Yes, it's possible. The level we are in Nigeria now, or the stage we are in Nigeria, is a stage whereby you cannot, for instance, you cannot register a SIM card without your proper identity. And your foundation ID in Nigeria is the one issued by NIMSI, which is the NIN, that is the National Identity Number. Now, if a SIM card is registered in somebody's name, and that SIM number is used to make a call, maybe by kidnappers or armed robbers or bad actors, the owner of the SIM card can actually be identified. And trust me, a lot of breakthroughs through our security operatives have taken place using same registration or even locations where calls are emanating from to trace these bad actors, and so many of them have been arrested. So a major step in securing our citizens is the linkage between NIN and our digital identity. And in a way, it will automatically discourage some bad actors from actually using their phone numbers registered with their name to commit crimes. What this tells us is that we should try to protect our identity so that our identity does not fall, or identities that we don't give them out anyhow, or our numbers, anything that can be used to identify us, maybe our name numbers, our traveling passport numbers, that we don't allow this to fall into the hands of bad people who could use them to register them, and they now SIM cards are now assume our identities. And that is one thing that we need to do as citizens. So there is a huge linkage between your identity and what you are known for and security situation in the country. And to a large extent, I would say that this has really assisted the security operatives to conduct investigations, to identify locations, and to even arrest some of these bad actors in our society.
Yeah, because many Nigerians have asked that how do we explain the need for NIN and BVN if kidnappers are still able to bypass these multiple identification means to perpetrate their act. But quickly walk us through if there is any existing collaboration between the NDPC and EFCC or even NCC to track data-driven crimes.
Yes, we have collaboration with a lot of government organizations to ensure that they actually deepen privacy in their operations. We have got to the level even of having MOU with some organizations, for instance, the FCCPC, which is also about consumers' rights. We have an MOU with them. We have with SMEDAN, we have with the Lottery Commission. We have a lot of organizations, and we are working with a lot of security organizations to ensure that they really take seriously the issues around data privacy and protection. The DSS, we have a working relationship with them. The Nigeria Police, we have with them, and a lot of organizations like that. Because the kind of data they collect and process, they process under public interest. In this case, whereby they are not allowed to disclose some of the things they are doing generally to people, and there's a limit to which you can carry out the investigation and what they are doing with personal data. But at the same time, how do they ensure that they protect the rights of citizens whose data they've collected? In addition to that, the issue of accountability, that is, any data that is in their custody, they are accountable for the purpose for which that data is being used. So we hold them accountable. Even something as simple as the level of officers that have access to the data in their possession. What level of data privacy do you understand? Moving data from one officer to the other, or from one location to the other, or from one security operative to another. What kind of encryption method are they using to ensure that there is no unauthorized access to such data which is still in their custody and they are accountable for such data? In terms of capacity building, those who have access to this data with them, what knowledge of privacy do they know? How can they ensure that they can guarantee that, yes, the data with them is secure, is safe, and is accurate? All the issues around the principle of data protection and privacy, to what extent have they put this in place to ensure that if we are collecting data minimization, that you don't collect more than what you need. Purpose limitation, what purpose are you collecting this data for? They are always mainly for investigations. Are they using it for any other purpose, which should not be allowed? Security of such data, storage of such data. Is there anything like cross-border transfer data, like Interpol, for instance? Are they sharing with anyone outside the country? These are issues that they need to really put in place. But and we are doing a lot.
Precisely, Mr. Olatunji, I'm wondering
creating awareness
how this works based vis-a-vis national security. You know, when security agencies have access to citizens' data, can they get this data without consent? Is there a point where the line is drawn, you know, between the rights of the citizens and national security?
You know, globally, warfare is beyond carrying physical guns or weapons. There is what is called cyber warfare, that is operations that are done online. Even attacking the economy of a country is like a crime. And these are done online as we speak. Now, in terms of collection and processing of data during investigations, their operations are carried out in a very secretive way. That if, for instance, you are saying you want to arrest a criminal, or you have arrested a criminal, you want to have access to information, you don't need the consent of such a criminal or suspected criminal. You don't need his consent to be able to have access to the data. It's just like even in the US, in the UK, or so-called developed countries, when you are arrested for an offense, even something as simple as a traffic offense, all they need to do is they get your driver license, they run it through their machine, and they have access to everything about you, where you live, where you have worked, the kind of certificate you have acquired, the kind of crimes that you have even committed before. That wouldn't need your consent. This is the cause of investigation, which is also a vital point of a vital purpose for data processing. So it's allowed in law that, yes, you can actually have access to such information.
Indeed.
But it now depends on who have access, for what purpose, what do they use it for, and what kind of security measures do they put in place when they have access to such information about you.
Let's touch on a few things you've highlighted recently. You mentioned last month that the NDPC is investigating TikTok and Truecaller for alleged data breaches. Is there any reason you're prioritizing these platforms? Are other multinationals like Meta and Google also under scrutiny?
Yes, so many organizations. Just that at the point of investigation, it's possible that we make it known. Some we don't make it known. It depends on the circumstances surrounding it. If questions are asked about those who are investigating, we've mentioned, yes, that we are actually investigating some as we speak. Even the likes of MultiChoice, their data processing activities is being investigated. Optasia, Money Point, a lot of organizations that we're investigating is not limited to these multinationals alone. And what we try to do as much as possible is to ensure that we don't sensationalize investigation. It's not about just going to the public to make noise. Oh, we are investigating. All we want you to do as an indigenous complaint or as a multinational is you are doing business in Nigeria, you are collecting and processing the data of Nigerians. Do what is right to Nigerians who are data subjects. They are obeying the provisions of the NDP Act, signed by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR on the 12th of June 2023. Now, during the course of investigation, we expose to you what we have found out about your data processing activities, where we've observed that you have not complied with the provisions of the law. Please, these are the things that we have observed, A, B, C, D. Go and do rectification. In the process of rectification, we tell you what you need to do. And all we tell you to do is do it, we monitor it for 6 months. It is only when you are not ready to cooperate in times of rectification that we can now issue full fine. Our approach has been I would say, carrot and stick approach. We are here to hit you when if you are really stubborn, you are not ready to cooperate and do what is right. But when you're ready to do that, we see ourselves as partners. We are working together to ensure that the right thing is done in Nigeria. Because the most important thing is the interest of Nigerians who are data subjects in this case.
Indeed, Mr. Olatunji, allow me to jump in quickly because you talked about the carrot and stick approach, the remediation approach, over immediate penalties. Some of your critics argue that this is a bit too lenient. How do you intend to balance corporate cooperation with deterrence in this regard?
Now, I think what is really important to us as a commission and as a representative of this government is to see how we can implement our laws in a way that can stimulate growth and development in the economy. Globally, the global economy is very fragile now. That you take any drastic decision, more importantly, against data controllers or people that are willing to obey the law. Maybe due to ignorance, they've not been able to do the right thing. Now they are willing to obey. Why go all out to punish them? Because punishing them is not about the financial fines alone. You now talk about reputational damage to the organizations, which is beyond the financial penalty that you want to issue. I tell you, companies can go down because of the announcement of data breach alone. Because they will lose trust of their data subjects, who are their customers or their clients, as the case may be. They will lose confidence of such people. Even their staff, they will lose their confidence too. Do you want to build a law around what will kill our economy as a country? No, we don't want to do that. What we are implementing in Nigeria is a developmental law. But if you now know that, yes, this group, this fellow, this set of people, they are not willing to obey the law, they are not ready to obey the law, and they don't want to obey the law. They feel they are above the law. We go all out to apply the provisions of the law. But as we've been saying all this while, we are still at the level of awareness, building capacity, let people know what is right to be done, and letting them know that in one bit you can be a data controller and processor. The kind of measures that are put in place to protect the data of your citizens is what you should expect, where you now turn around to become a data subject. If you're a data controller as a telco operator, to your banks, to your hospitals, you are a data subject. So it's a two-way thing. All right. So do you want to be the same whereby we keep finding organizations every day and we are selling them out of businesses, or we want to be the robust economy where everyone will come in, see ourselves as partners, and be able to work together to grow our economy, to grow our system, and to make our economy more robust than the way it is? I think these are the options open to us. And we have chosen the option of making our economy more robust, attract foreign direct investors to the country, where they will know that, yes, they have confidence in the economy, they have trust in our system of governance, in the laws that we are operating in the country, that will attract them, that will make our economy very more friendly than others that are coming out to apply for. We are not at that stage yet. Right. But you know that you are really, really recalcitrant and you are not ready to obey the law, we go allowed to apply the provisions of the law.
I hear you clearly. What are we doing to take advantage of efforts like these across the continent? Is there like a network of data protection authority leveraging on?
Yes. In fact, the good thing is that our approach, the good thing is that our approach in Nigeria has now become a model. The other African countries are now trying to see how they can work with us to look at our model. the level, in terms of registration of data controllers and processors, in terms of audit filing, in terms of our own special model, which is a PPP model, where we have licensed a lot of private sector organizations to take data controllers and processors through compliance. Most of African countries, they are at the level of just registering data controllers and processors. After registering them, what next? That does not lead to compliance. It doesn't mean that you are compliant when you register with data control, when you register with the data protection authority. So at the level of Africa now, we have a network of African data protection authorities where all data protection authorities meet on an annual basis to review activities in different countries. We are bringing all of them to Nigeria in May, and we've received notification from minimum of 3 of them saying, please, after NADPA in Nigeria, we want to stay back to study your own model and go back to our countries to apply such model, to implement such model. In fact, last year, one of the countries, Somalia, they were here for 1 week to understudy what we are doing. So ours is now becoming a model that other countries can copy. And during the NADPA that is coming up, this is part of what we are going to showcase. That in terms of registration, we are higher than any other country in Africa as we speak. In terms of audit filing, we are higher than any other African country as we speak. In terms of revenue to government, we are higher than any other African country as we that you may think of. So in terms of everything, we are now becoming a model, and it's part of why all of them are even coming to Nigeria for Nigeria to host the network of African data protection authorities from the 6th of May to 8th of May 2025. All data protection authorities are about 30 of them. These are countries who have their national legislations and who have set up their data protection authorities to come to Nigeria to be part of the world. And by extension, the whole world. We have people coming from Europe, from Asia, from America, or a lot of professionals in data protection because they are coming. And we are going to exhibit a lot of solutions to drive privacy in a lot of work. So it's a big event, and because of the model that we have put in place, that is why they are coming to Nigeria for this event in May this year.
We're going to keep track on that. The last data we got from you last year was 55% compliance from the private sector, and about we had to reach 20% of the public sector. We probably will find time to talk about how you intend to ensure 100% adherence in sectors like the healthcare, where we had you making some inroads recently. But we are completely out of time now, Mr. Olatunji. But I'm hoping that you'll find time to come again so that we can continue to track your progress in the commission. Dr. Vincent Olatunji is National Commissioner and CEO of the Nigeria Data Protection Commission. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you very much for having me.
And that's our show today, everyone. You can watch it again at midnight and at 6 a.m.